Hey everyone, welcome back to another exciting episode of Attack Productions. Today, I'm back up once again by Jake and Fluff.
What's going on, y'all?
What's up, beautiful people?
And today, we're kind of going over the starter decks that are coming out in the first set of Zenkai, with their particular unique card either being a Z Awaken or a Z Battle card that they've kind of showcased as well during these past couple days of reveals. So, we're going to start with the green deck being Gotenks, which is a reboot. So all these leaders actually are reboots, which is pretty fantastic. Whether they needed a reboot or not, I think all of them are amazing. So, Gotenks. When this card attacks, you draw one card. Standard. What makes this Gotenks different is that when you have two or more energy, when you activate a union skill, you may flip this card to its back. If you do, draw one card, switch to one of your energies active mode, and add cards from your life to your hand until you have 6 life left. So very similar to the original Gotenks, where you'd have a unison in play, with energy cost, specific cost of 2, then you can awaken by resetting 2 energy. So this goes to a hybrid, and you just have to do it as a union. And what's great about this is that there you can still do the Goku combo, followed up with the free Union Fusion Gotenks just coming out, which is pretty nice. Then, or you just go down 4 life and then draw one card, switch one card. Standard stuff. Once you've awakened, you have once per turn. When you activate a Union skill, you play one Ghost token with 15,000 power in rest mode. Auto, when this card attacks, you draw one card. And in the activate battle once per turn, remove one Ghost token from the game. Use up to one mono green card with 5,000 combo power from your drop area, and a combo of its skills negate it for the battle. So pretty much, activate battle, you can pitch one of your Ghost tokens that's already in rest mode, that you've potentially already swung with, to combo a card from your drop area into your combo area, and that way you can place it into your Z energy later, which I think is fantastic. And this card can still chain very nicely with the original 2-drop Unison, in my opinion, because you can still play the Unison, you can still free Union, get a draw off that, get to awaken off that, and then if you want to pay energy to do another fusion, then you can play a Ghost token after that. You won't get a secondary draw, which is fine. But it just gives you a variety of things. And I think we're getting a new Unison anyways, but we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, it really opens up this Gotenks deck to play a lot of new stuff in its list. Like if it doesn't want to include Unisons. I know a thing a lot of Gotenks players complained about is that the deck kind of built itself. Like you just once you included all of the Gotenks things and Unisons that you needed, you only had 12 or 16 slots left in your deck to kind of tech it out, and usually a lot of that got eaten up with charismatics and Zamasus and things like that.
It just became good green. Like you play Gotenks, good green.
One of the things that I noticed about this leader is really going to change the curve on how Gotenks uses the energy, because they're used to turn 1 playing Goku, turn 2 playing their Unison, awakening, and then tapping 2 to go into their to go into the 6-drop Gotenks. So I'd be really interested to see if they've got a free Unison or a free Union coming, or a Union that's going to cost 1 see if it fits in line with this curve.
There's a 3-drop Gotenks coming in that has a Union for free.
Yeah.
It hasn't been an official review, but if I recall correctly, it was showcased at San Diego Con. I may have a picture in their Discord about it. And then we got the card that kind of goes with that, which is the Z Awaken, which is SS3 Gotenks, Warrior's Growth, which is pretty interesting because this is an adult Gotenks card all of a sudden, which is pretty cool. Z Awaken, 1 energy. If your life is 5 or less, mono green Gotenks, you play this, and this, I like this. It kind of gives the parentheses of how it should be done. Pay the skill cost and Z energy, then play this card from your Z deck on top of the specified leader's back side. So you have to be awakened in order to do the Z Awaken. I don't know. I think that's how all this is supposed to be. And the promos I don't think the promos had these parentheses that we talked about earlier in the week. But I do like this, adding this here for rolling purposes. And especially as a starter deck, you kind of have to do that for new skills and whatnot. When you activate a Union skill, you play 1 Ghost token with 50,000 power in rest mode, so it continues that effect over. Activate main, limit 1, draw 1 card, switches card to active mode. So the idea is then you swing, then you Z Awaken, restand, draw a card, and you can swing again if you want to, with the follow-up activate battle, which is something you probably want to do if you're going for game, or you just want to get this double strike in. So Limit 1, remove 1 Son Goten and 1 Trunks Youth card in your Z energy from the game. This card gets plus 15,000 power and double strike for the battle, and at the end of the battle, remove this card from the game as well. So you are pitching potentially 2 energy from your Z energy, but it's giving you a 15,000 combo additional and a double strike on top of that, making a 30k double strike swing, which is phenomenal if you're going for game.
Yeah, I really like the design of this leader and the Awakened leader, like from the art style to the way it kind of augments the way Gotenks played already, where it's spamming the board and dual attacking, and then having a more relevant way to bring the ghost tokens in is some nice flavor as well. I think this is a 10 out of 10 on design for me.
And it's unclear how much 5Z energy investment is going to end up being for this. Like, is that going to be a relatively high cost so that this wants to be a game ender, or is that going to be something that's going to be relatively fluid for your deck to be able to perform? And I really only time and experience will tell from that, but I do really like the way this card is designed, both aesthetically and design wise.
And I was just thinking about it, if you get a good enough hand and you do play Goku, you pay 1 Goku, get the cards you need. If you already have everything else you need, you can just combo that Goku off and then start forming your Z energy from that point on. Alright, so a lot of people's favorites, I feel like, especially at our locals, is Pan. That's our next one we're going to go over real quick. Very similar to the old Pan, just some slight tweaks. So once per turn, when you play a battle card, choose it. It gets plus 5,000 power for the turn. If this raises its power to 20,000 or more, you draw 1 card. Your awakens when your life is 4 or less, or you have 3 or more Z energy. You may draw 1 card, switch up to one of your energies active mode, and you add cards from your life to get down to 6. Once you've awakened Pan, kind of the same thing. You play a battle card, choose it, plus 5,000. If it's 20,000 or more, draw 1 card. When this card attacks, draw 1 card. Activate main. Once per turn, choose up to one of your red Z battle cards with an energy cost of 2, and it gets plus 5,000 power for a turn. This is very key to the rest of the starter deck's engine, and we've already seen beforehand. A lot of people tend to play like there was the promos or EX packs or boxes where it had the 2-drop Trunks or the 2-drop Yamcha, which kind of people tend to play off of this as well. Or we just go straight into the next card, and top of this all as a package, SS4 Son Goku, Defender of Life, which is a 2 energy cost card. It is 3 Z energy, deflect, double strike, so it's hitting the board for sure. When this card is played, you place 1 Saiyan card from your drop area under this card, and this card gains barrier for the turn. Additionally, if your opponent has 4 or more life, you deal 1 damage to them. So immediately it can burn 1 life from them, put another 3. And what I like about this card a lot is that you, especially say go against green, they go, okay, cool, what's counter charismatic villain? Well, this card could potentially gain barrier, and then that was almost a waste of a counter if you have no other cards on board. Now, I don't know why you would charismatic when they have a drop area for you to look at. But activate main once per turn for 1 red energy. If your leader card is Pan only card, and you have 4 more energy, and Great Ape Son Goku, the aggressor, is under this card gets plus 5,000 power and dual attack for the turn. And the reason why I want to kind of go to this card real quick, because Pan's Activate Battle gives additional 5k to this. So this becomes a 25, 30, 35 double strike, dual attack, barrier, deflect. That is amazing for 3 energy on turn 4.
Yeah, that is a ton of pressure, and Red already has got a lot of good tools in recent sets, and it's been kind of a dominant color for a couple formats, and I think Bandai is clearly showing us that they still think Red needs a little bit of help here. This card is amazing.
Yeah, I really like this card. I'm a little worried that the original Pan leader had the condition that it was almost too fair of a leader, and the reason that it maintained such longevity of success was because people had really put the time into that deck to understand how that deck worked against the meta as a whole during the seasons that it was, partially successful. And I really worry that Pan is going back to its old ways of being almost too fair. It really depends on the stuff that we're going to end up getting from Pan herself. I could really see something like Bardock's crew splashing into that deck and making a huge impact.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of going to the idea. I remember when I did touch base on Panel, but the old school one, if you didn't see a card, you're like, well, I can't benefit off my leader now. This is unfortunate. With a new Z deck, you're guaranteed, at least for what we've seen so far, turn 2, be able to use that effect if you don't have the right cards in your hand, which I think is, I do like that aspect of it. That way you're not locking yourself out, but I do understand what Fluff is saying as well. All right. So going to next one, I think, I know for sure Nick is, maybe Jake, I can't remember, yellow?
For sure.
Oh yeah.
Okay. This is the best leader that they've announced so far.
So activate main once per turn. You look up to 10 cards from the top of your deck, add up to 1 yellow Earthlink only card with energy cost of 1, or a 1 yellow unison specific cost of 1 among them to your hand, then you shuffle your deck. Awaken is if your life is 4 or less, or you have 1 or more yellow cards in play with Bulma or Yamcha in their card name. You may draw 1 card, switch to one of your energies active mode, and go down to 6 life, kind of the conceit we're seeing with all these new starter deck leaders. And when you awaken, you become the uncontrollable Great Ape Son Goku returns, which once per turn, choose 1 of your cards, switch it to rest mode. When this card attacks, choose all of your opponent's non-energy cards, switch them to rest mode, and you choose either one of 2 options. Either draw 1 card or add up to 1 yellow Great Ape Son Goku childhood card from your deck to your hand, then shuffle your deck afterwards. And then it has an activate battle once per turn. If it is your turn, use up to 1 mono yellow Earthling card with 5,000 combo power from your drop area, and combo with it with the skills negated for battle. That way, once again, your turn, your opponent's turn, whatever you is, you're able to get more Z energy into your Z energy area.
Yeah, I really like that this card enables the use of Z energy by utilizing resources from your drop area, as opposed to having to commit active battle cards or cards in your hand.
I think this might be the only leader that's doing that right now. That we
the Gotenks leader has this same effect on the backside for green card.
Yes.
You have to remove a ghost token to do it, but you will also be able to put energy or cards into your Z energy from the drop area. Granted, you remove the ghost token with Gotenks as well.
Yeah.
I really like the consistency on the front side too, where you get to look at the top 10. A lot of times with these archetypal decks, they suffer from the flavor of their archetype creating inconsistency and keeping them out of competitiveness, but I think they've done a really good job trying to get around that. It seems like Bandai is really swinging for the fences on this set and really trying to prove to everybody that Z leaders and Z cards in general are cool and they should be excited to play them when they come out.
Yeah.
Son Goku growing up fast. This is the Z Awakened leader for the Son Goku Great Ape, which has critical. As Z Awakened for 1 yellow energy. When your life is 3 or less, you send 1 Great Ape Son Goku childhood card from your drop area to your warp yellow Son Goku childhood. That's the requirements to your Z Awakening. It's a lot. Alright. Now we have the auto once per turn. Choose 1 card, choose 1 of your cards, switch it to rest mode. When this card attacks, you play up to 1 yellow Bulma card with energy cost of 1 from your hand or drop area. So what makes this a little bit different is, before I get into the active battle, when the Great Ape it's swung, you choose 1 card, switch it to rest mode, and this card's then you choose all your opponent's non-energy cards, switch them to rest mode. So you kind of lose out on the ability when you do the Z Awaken.
It's on attack on that auto, so you attack, get your effect, and then Z Awaken and go into this.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah,
that makes a lot more sense for me. The auto in this one also is 1 attack. So, like I said, if you want to play the Bulma, I'm not sure what the 1-drop Bulma is going to be. If that's more important than switching your opponent's cards to rest mode, maybe they don't have cards to switch to rest mode. Maybe that's the reason there as well. But you can do that. Activate battle once per turn. Place up to 1 of your Z energies in its owner's drop area and remove 1 Son Goku childhood card from your drop area from the game. This card gets plus 10,000 power and double strike for the battle. And at the end of the battle, remove this card from the game. So this is a little bit confusing. At first, now my brain started to process it. The card you place from your Z energy to your drop area should be a Son Goku childhood card. Because in order to awaken, you have to put 1 from your drop area to your warp. If I read all that correctly.
Yeah.
So make sure when you combo a Son Goku Childhood, you're placing into your Z energy. You just hang on to that one card for this effect later down the road.
Yeah, I really like this Z Awaken leader. I really think this is an interestingly designed one.
Yep. So going to the last leader we got going on here from the 4-star decks is Trunks. Permit during your opponent's turn, if you would add a card from your life to your hand or place it in your dropper, you may reveal it and add it to your hand instead. Auto when this card attacks, look up to 5 cards from the top of your deck, add up to one Saiyan or Earthling card, both blue and with energy cost of 4 or less, or 1 blue unison with a specific cost of 2 among them to your hand and shuffle your deck. The awakens when a player's life is at 4 or less, or a player has 3 or more Z energy. You may draw 1 card, switch with one of your energies to active mode. So right there is that you do not require to have 4 life. You can have whatever life you want and still be able to awaken if you're able to.
If your opponent has multiple Z energy,
yeah,
you're able to awaken.
Can I just say something about the front side of this leader real quick? Immediately before we even see the awaken side, I'm bouncing off of this card so hard. There's so much text and so many almost nitpicky things where earlier in the videos we were praising the clarity in some of the text, and I think this is going back to the old ways with overcomplicated text and really niche effects that are easily misplayed and mishandled. This front side, I think all 3 of those effects have so much room to misplay.
So the way I'm seeing this, and because there will be other leaders that we've already kind of seen that read the same way as this, and I think other cards may read the same way as this. My brain is seeing it as, and may help out as well, a program. So you go to the first box. The first box in this case is top 5, up to 1 Saiyan or Earthling card. Box 2. Are those cards blue with energy cost 4 or less? If so, cool. Or you could look for 1 unison with specific cost of 2 and add it to your hand instead. That's how I kind of see it.
Yeah, I just think that's a lot for a starter deck leader on the front side.
I will agree with that. It did confuse me a little bit as I was trying to read it out loud. But once you've awakened to SS2 Trunks, the permanent's still the same during your opponent's turn. If you would add cards from your life to your hand or place it in the dropper, you can reveal it, add it to your hand instead. Auto, when this card attacks, you draw 1 card. At the end of your turn, you switch up to 1 of your mono blue energy to active mode, which I think is pretty cool. I don't think the old Trunks had that.
It did not.
Activate main. Once per turn for 2 blue energy, you draw 1 card. Then you choose one of your opponent's battle cards and place it at the bottom of the owner's deck. Additionally, if you have a mono blue Z battle card with an energy cost of 5 or more in play, this card gets plus 10,000 power and double strike for the turn. I don't like that as an activate main, but if you know you can get that tack in, do it.
And we do know there's going to be a 5-cost Vegito.
Mm-hmm.
It's a Z battle card that is bonkers. That Vegito is super good. Hopefully we'll get an official release on that one coming up very soon.
Actually, Fluff, it's right here.
There it is. Nice. Yeah.
So nice. SSB Vegito, Godly Spirit, 5 blue energy, 3 Z energy, deflect, triple strike, barrier, blocker. It's staying on the board. It's not going anywhere. Unless you find a flash in, whatever. But, auto, if your leader is Trunks Future, when this card attacks or activates blocker, you may add 1 card from your hand to... Hang on. You may add 1 card from your hand to your life. If you do, add 1 card from... Okay, it switches it out. It's the... There was a promo card for Trunks or a part of the original engine that allowed you kind of do that same effect.
Thing.
Yeah.
I think it was a Kai of Time, maybe? The Unison?
I think so.
It did the effect backwards from that, so you would add the card from your life, then add 1 card to your hand from your life. Or you would pick 1 card up from your life and then add 1 card back to your life. Whereas this is doing it backwards because you could actually kill yourself with the effect before.
And then the secondary auto is at the end of your turn, you switch this card to active mode. Choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards, place it at the bottom of its owner's deck, and your opponent places 1 card from their hand at the bottom of their deck as well. So if you are able to get the energy, I don't know if you could do this on the same turn you play Vegito, unless obviously we are getting new ramp cards for blue to be able to make this happen.
the way that the Trunks deck works is that there's a Goku and a Vegeta both that when they're revealed from your life, you charge them in your energy and then they fall off after a turn. So you can go from like 3 energy to 5 energy in one turn if you do things correctly.
I forgot about that.
Yeah. So in the Trunks deck, it may not be the most consistent thing in the world, but getting to 5 energy is not outside of the question, especially if you're able to set up your life in the correct way.
That's really interesting. The main thing I'm seeing about this card is that the second auto isn't tied to the Trunks Future Leader.
It is not.
So I think this is good enough to play outside of the archetype, which is really, I think this is maybe the first, other than the Red Goku, this might be the first Z Battle card we've seen that might be worth playing outside of its intended archetype.
The Red Goku's second effect is locked to Pan.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, this looks, so maybe this is the only one then.
This is really good for SS4 Vegeta.
SS4 Vegeta.
Yep. Yeah. Because the other two we saw, both the like I said, at this point we've talked about all of them. I think it's phenomenal. I think all of them have their pluses, very little cons. Maybe, like I said, I do agree with Jake in some parts where just read it slowly. Make sure you get all the check marks before you go any further. Especially when these leaders have so much text compared to what we're used to as well.
Yeah.
But hey, that covers today's video. Hope you all enjoyed that. And like I said, if you enjoy this type of content, let us know in the comments, and we'll start to keep up as they reveal. Like I said, it may not be every day because that's just a lot of effort when we all work, but maybe every couple of days we'll kind of just grab a handful of cards that were revealed and kind of go over them as well. And with that being said, there's buttons down below. Click them. They're there for a reason. I mean, it costs you absolutely nothing. Fluff, would you lead us out?
Of course. Emphasis is on read your cards, but additionally, know your plays. Let us make the mistakes so that you don't have to, and Fluff out.